is going on, Miami Hurricanes fans, and I would say Syracuse fans, but well, I know they're not here because I DM'd a handful, and they all left me unread. So either they don't want the smoke, or they hate Coop, or there's not really any Syracuse fans around. I don't know, but happy Friday. Happy Friday. I'm very sorry. Look, not to start the stream out on a negative note, but I tried my best to bring back the Inside Insight show this week. And every Syracuse fan that I found would not respond. I tried tagging them. I tried DMing them, emailing, reach out to the guy who... there's a content creator that covers Syracuse, didn't get a response. It's all good. It's all good. I'm not here to complain. I just, I thought it would be cool to talk about the Miami-Syracuse game. But it is what it is. We're going to talk about it right here tonight with you guys, with the college football family. Got to give a shout out to my man, John Bird, who re-upped his Canes fan membership for, oh my good grief. Well, I had to take a picture because it was so early in the stream. I knew it was going to be gone, but I got you, John. I took a picture of it. John re-upped his Canes fan membership for 71 months. He says, "Hey, Coop and Hurricanes fans, hope the Canes take care of business tomorrow afternoon. As always, it's all about the you." Thank you, John. Good grief, man.
Good to see you, bro.
Tim with the big 5 there as well. Appreciate y'all. I'll sit you atop the throne, 10. Wanted to show some love there to John. Thank you, John. I appreciate you, man. Are you going to get to watch the game tomorrow? I know you're usually working. Tim, I'll sit you up there. Good to see you. Let's go down the list here. My man Crip in the building, MS79. We got Nick. I think Nick and Joel were at the Florida State basketball game, if I'm not mistaken. Akirat, what's up, man? You saw Locked on Canes. You hear link to Lenoris Sellers, the South Carolina quarterback. We can talk about that a little tonight. I've seen the rumors and stuff. You know, I saw the statement put out about Lenoris Sellers. Of course, there are rumors swirling about the NC State quarterback, CJ Bailey, as well. So we can talk about that maybe on the tail end before we open up the phone lines. We can discuss the quarterback room a little bit. I'm down for that. Who else we got in here? Couch Coach Tommy, what's up, man? We got Gmail in here. We got Clizzy. Sellers to the U would mean someone is leaving. Yeah, it's we'll talk about it. We got Dion in here. Red, white, true news. What's going on, man? We got Soul in here. GTA 6 might actually be out. Whoo, buddy. Another delay, right? Another GTA delay. Something else. Henry in here. SBB, Forever Kane. Appreciate y'all. Cornelius, my man Kyle checking in. Roy in here as well. Mr. Graham. Hey, thank you, bro. All the way out from the Middle East. That's crazy. That is wild. So let's talk about it tonight. Let's have a good time. I understand we always have to have this little conversation when the collapse happens with Miami. Hype kind of drops off of a cliff a little bit. You know, if it were still just one loss, you know, if it had just been SMU or just Louisville, I plug in any team, then it might not have impacted the fan base as much. But 2 losses here with 4 still left to go in November, which is, for a lot of Canes fans, the scariest part of the schedule. Let's be real. The hype has kind of dropped off a little bit.
We ballin',
Who's that? Oh, Cane for Life. 65 months. Thank you, bro. It's hard being a Canes fan. We need to finish strong. We do. And the opportunity is there against Syracuse. Good to see you, Lenoris. And I know some people maybe think that I was a bit crazy with that score prediction, but I'll give you my reasoning. We'll talk about it. So Miami, number 18 ranked team in the country, tomorrow afternoon at 3:30, taking on a 3-6 Syracuse team, 1-5 in the ACC. It is a home game for us. It's at Hard Rock Stadium. And keep in mind, there are only 2 total games left at home. You have this one this week, then you've got next week, and then after that, It is finishing out the season at Virginia Tech and Pitt. So then you've got the 2 away games. Just as another quick reminder, there is still no ESPN on YouTube TV. And last week during the watch party, it was mass chaos as expected. There is still no deal. Don't know when there will be a deal, but I will have links. So I will have links available if you need it for the game tomorrow. I myself have been using Sling TV. Some people have said, well, where are we going, Coop? It's either a Pirate's Life for me or Sling TV is what I do. What's up, Sage? We got Edward in here. Hype is at a low now. Blow out the orange to get some hype back. Yeah, and again, there's an opportunity for style points tomorrow, and I think it's necessary. And I think that, believe it or not, Miami is capable. Will it happen? We'll see. But absolutely still capable. Even give it, it's so easy. Yeah, it's so easy to embrace the negative side of things. And obviously, I did a ton of venting this week. I talked about, is the fan base losing faith in Mario Cristobal? And I myself said a little bit, I am, yeah. Would I be calling for his head or anything? No, I think that's crazy talk. But I understand the frustration. I do. And like you said, there's an opportunity here with Syracuse to bounce back a bit. And I would want Miami to turn it around. We know that at this point, 10-2 is the best case scenario. That's the reality with the regular season. But I would rather go 10-2 than 9-3 or 8-4, right? So we want them to finish strong and get a win. And Syracuse, here's the deal. The Syracuse have lost 5 games in a row. And one of the biggest problems they have right now is the QB hokey pokey. They don't have a quarterback because they lost their transfer quarterback, Steve Angeli. And the 3 backups are not playing well. They're just not.
Never fear, the OT Wizard is here. Glad to see you're in better spirits, Coop. This game is going to decide if we are going to maintain or are we going to regress. If we lose to this game, I am an FAU fan.
FAU?
Wait, what did I say?
FAU? Randy. I hope that's still the right button. I don't know if it is. I hope it is. Y'all can let me know. You didn't last time. Y'all can let me know, though. Randy, I'll sit you atop the throne. FAU. What? Who would even be acceptable, right? If you were going to be like jokingly jump ship and go to another team, who would even be an acceptable alternative? Like you can't pick FIU. We've had bad experiences there. No one cares about UCF. US, I don't know, man. Maybe it is FAU. I don't know. Randy, I'll sit you atop the throne with the big 20. You crazy, man. You done any gaming lately, Randy? I fired up Cyberpunk for the first time last night to kind of check it out, and it was a trip. It was a trip. He's a great recruiter, but to call for Ken Dorsey at offensive coordinator. What's up, Bryce? Well, so here's the deal. We're talking about the very unfortunate quarterback situation at Syracuse. Unfortunate for them. And we didn't really know early on this week who was going to be starting for them. They have 3 backup quarterbacks, and all of them appear to suck. Let's not sugarcoat it. Let's be real. But Fran Brown did announce the starting quarterback for this game, and it's the one that absolutely makes the most sense, especially against Miami. Ricky Collins. This is the LSU transfer. This guy has the most experience out of the other 2 quarterbacks that are available. Filardi is the one that was on the lacrosse scholarship that I mentioned earlier this week. They're desperate, right? And Carney is a freshman. So Collins makes the most sense, but he's not played great, right? You can see here the list of games he's played in this season. He's not done well. He has more interceptions than touchdowns, 8 interceptions to 6 touchdowns. But here's why he's the best pick. He has the most experience between the backups. And guess what? It's only supposed to be highlighting this section over here. He can run the ball. And, well, we know what that could mean for Miami. So this guy is capable of beating you with his legs if needed. Not a crazy threat, but if we look at his previous 3 games here, 14 carries, 41 yards, 9 carries, 42 yards, 10 carries, 57 yards. So obviously Miami has accounted for that in their game prep. I know he didn't make the announcement, I believe, until today, or maybe it was yesterday, but it was kind of obvious. Let's be real. It was going to be Ricky Collins. It was not going to be the lacrosse player. It was not going to be the freshman, not against Miami. Like we are down and out as a fan base. Good to see you, Patty. We're down and out, but the reality is, how many times can Coop say the reality is tonight? We're 6-2. We're a top 25 ranked team. This would be a huge win for a Syracuse team that's not even going to make it to a bowl game this year. So they're not going to go out without a fight. They're going to come out swinging. And you can see that his most recent game was Georgia Tech. So they tried something a little different, right? So they had Georgia Tech. He played. They get their doors blown off, 41-16. His stats aren't out of this world, but they're not absolutely terrible. 17 of 29, 224, the touchdown, and he had the 41 rushing yards. So then they say, you know what? Fran Brown is grasping at straws. They don't have a quarterback. What are we going to do? All of our eggs were in the Angeli basket. He went down in the Clemson game. So they try. Right? You just got to give it a shot. You got nothing to lose at that point. They try out Filardi, the lacrosse player. Dude can't even surpass 40 yards. 40 passing yards against UNC. And the Tar Heels are, not playing really well right now. They end up losing that one. They give up 21 unanswered points to a 3-5 North Carolina. So now they shift it back to Ricky Collins for the Miami game. Now here is something that I'm not leaning into the negativity. I'm just saying, I swear, all right, if this Collins guy comes out and puts up Heisman level numbers on Miami, I will lose my mind. Because we have a history of doing that at times. He better not. I will lose it. I will officially lose it. You thought I was going crazy before. No, I will lose it if this guy puts up big numbers on Miami. Good to see you, Laha Space Mountain. We got Garrett. We got FSU fans checking in. Okay. All right. I don't think he's capable of doing that, just being honest. Again, it's a Syracuse team that is struggling. Their O-line is not great. They have a non-existent run game. Defense is underperforming. They are a bad football team. Bad football team. But I will say that I know Miami's offense isn't big on scoring a lot of points. But as I said, this would be the game that there's an opportunity for some style points, and you do absolutely need it at this point. On the tail end of the season with 4 games left to go, you need to be blowing these teams out. You have to make a statement. And not even only if we want to talk about college football playoff stuff. If you want to throw that out the window, there's a lot of bad press right now on Mario Cristobal. And, all eyes are on this offense. It's last year we have an offense, but we didn't have a defense. This year now we're like, well, I guess that we have a defense, but we don't have an offense. And Mario Cristobal has been putting out some pretty rough statements, I think, to put it lightly. I'm not a coach. I'm just a fan, but I know as a fan, I did not want to hear that SMU has the same level of talent as Miami. And I know that there's a certain level of coach speak, so I don't expect Mario Cristobal to come up there and say, wow, SMU is such a terrible football team. I take full accountability for this loss. We should have beat them by 50. Rhett Lashley sucks. But they're not going to do that. They're gonna start, look, they're going to come up there and they're going to say, first off, congratulations to SMU. They played a heck of a football game. They have a very talented team, right? Like you expect that. But when he came out, when he was sitting down with Joe Zagacki, right? And he said something along the lines of SMU as talent level is the same as Miami or around the same. And, I think that it's fair that Canes fans got pretty upset about that. And he continues to bring up the fact that he says games all across the country are close. And I really kind of hate that, I feel like that you need to focus on Miami. Let's not talk about what other teams are doing. Let's talk about what Miami is doing. And when we're playing teams like Louisville and SMU, at the end of the day, teams with less talent overall on their roster, Henry's going to eat me up, and it's fine. Y'all beat us, but there's no excuse. And I don't really know. So people say, well, Coop, what's Mario supposed to say? I'm not sure. I don't get paid millions and millions of dollars to figure that out, but I know as a fan, it didn't feel good hearing that, because that makes you look kind of bad, because well, their talent level is equal to us. Well, they had a lot of Miami rejects. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's players that Miami didn't feel like they were good enough to play, so they shoo them out of here. And they go over there, and you see the pictures in the locker room. Now, Tyler Van Dyke didn't contribute a thing, but he's over here with his legs propped up, smoking a cigar. You get fed up after a while. And it's just not what I wanted to hear. It doesn't feel good as a fan to hear him say those things in that way. But I'm sure he also gets tired of being asked the same questions over and over, and you run out of ways to spin it, right? This defense has proven itself. Syracuse will be lucky to score, and I think my score prediction reflects that, right? 904. Yeah, I got them kicking 2 field goals. That's it. They should not be able to move the football. Should not. I wanted to see what Jose had to say here. I went to Syracuse last year, and it was embarrassing. I hated everyone throwing that upside down U in my face. Syracuse coach is dangerous and mocked us so bad. I hope Mario doesn't crap his pants. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, Bonefish is Yalaha. Yep. Let's also get a check-in here. I guess I'm going to get off on several rants and tangents here. I'm still heated. Look, that's what I'm saying. This has got to be, you got to pour it on this team. It's still not going to completely change my mindset, but you got to show me something here against Syracuse. If you're going to come out, and it's going to be a lot of the same, because I don't expect them to march out there and just look like a totally different football team, but this needs to be a Stanford-type game, except it's not going to be 7-7 going into halftime. Miami needs to be up at least 2 scores going into halftime. You dominate the second half. We do have some injuries, though, we got to talk about. We'll get to that here in just a second. Let's look at the weather report here down in South Florida tomorrow afternoon for a 3:30 kickoff. Should be a beautiful day. Mid-80s, somewhat low chance of precipitation. Not any crazy high winds, partly cloudy. It's a beautiful, gorgeous day for football tomorrow. The uniform combo has been announced, back to the classic look. A lot of Canes fans will be happy about that. Orange over white. Team captains. I think this is where some people are going to be a little upset, possibly. Hold on. Maybe. You heard that Rhett Lashley at the press conference was ripping on Cristobal. See, I don't know. I mean, I didn't hear really anything that made me upset. So I don't know. I know that Rhett Lashley was on social media and people said, man, this guy's trolling Miami. I lost all my respect for Rhett. I used to like him as a Canes fan, and now I don't know what to think. Bro, they beat us. Don't get beat, and you won't have coaches and players trolling you on social media. Win the damn game. And I'm not saying that people are in the wrong for being upset about it. Of course you are. I'm gonna react to it too and be like, frick you, man. But beat them. Team captains. You have. I'm going to read it from bottom to top on purpose here. Dylan Joyce, Keontae Scott, Aeneas Cooper, Reuben Bain Jr., David Blay, and Alex Bauman. I don't know why people were freaking out about that, actually. Why were people freaking out about this? They were acting like... Are they mad about Blay? I'm guessing they're mad over David Blay, maybe? I'll be real. I didn't see who this list was. I'm just now looking at it, but I saw people being mad about it. People were so mad that I thought that it was going to be Brockemeyer on here. That's why I was right. The penalties? Okay, so they're mad about the penalties. Yeah. I thought it was Brockermeyer or something on here because I was like, oh, gosh. We'll clap it up for the captains here. I was thinking, there's no way, right? There's no way. We could lose all the rest of these games. I mean, here's the deal. Any team could lose any of the rest of their games. If Miami does, in fact, lose the rest of these games, if you lose to a 3-win Syracuse team, if you drop one, now NC State's kind of dangerous. They're putting up some big points, right? If you drop the game to Virginia Tech, Pitt could be a little bit scary as well. But if they lost all of them, man, shut that down. I don't think that's possible. And like I said, I've vented and got a lot of my frustrations out. It doesn't mean we ignore the issues with this team, but realistically losing the rest of them, I don't think. No way. Now there is a bit of an impact here. We got Coach Hayes in the building. What's up, man? We need to get some kind of collab together this year. Can we agree, Coach, that every season I blink and it's over? Can you believe it, bro? That we spend the entire offseason crying and complaining, saying what I would give to watch the Canes take the field one more time, one more game. And now here we are with 4 left. 4 games left. And I've done messed around, and I ain't brought Coach Hayes on the channel. I'm going to go ahead and spoil something for you guys. Dono and I have been cooking something up, a collab, for almost 5 weeks now. And it just flies by. I just keep forgetting to set it up. I'm not, it's crazy, man. We got to get together with Coach Hayes, man. Appreciate you being here. You know how it is. Everybody's still kind of fuming a bit, and I understand it, right? I get it. And I got them beating Syracuse in quite a big way, though. But injury report here. Obviously, Syracuse is loaded out the wazoo with injuries, but we already knew that. CJ Daniels is listed as out. At the time of looking at this, they had him as questionable. CJ Daniels is in fact out. You have Basaint is questionable. You have Moten, who is 50-50. Obviously, we knew that Fletcher was going to be out, so we're going to see a bigger dose of Lyle and Marty Brown. And Tony Johnson also listed as out as well, and OJ. So, Miami was able to avoid the injury bug for quite some time, but it's, taking its toll a little bit. Some guys are beat up, and, the CJ Daniels, that one hurts a little bit. That one does hurt a little bit. But even factoring everything in, right, we talk about how much Syracuse is struggling, and I don't doubt for a second that they're going to come out and possibly surprise some people. Like I said, I would not doubt at all that quarterback that has thrown more interceptions than touchdowns this season is going to come out and he's just going to let it rip. Because you're talking about a team that's 3-6 that's probably not going to a bowl game, trying to take down the number 18 ranked team in the country. Right? Miami's pissed down their leg, and they're trying to take our face and just rub it all in it. And historically speaking, right, this would be another one of those types of games where Miami doesn't get up for it. But, man, they've got to. They have to. But that doesn't mean it happens just because they need to make it happen. No, and it's fair. Look, people are allowed to give their opinion. I know people go over on Dono's show and say, I hate Coop. I can't stand that goofball. What a nut job. There's some people on my channel that love Dono and don't like him. It's okay, right? You don't have to like everybody. I tell people all the time, I can put my big boy pants on. I bet people go in Coach Hayes chat, right? And they say, man, I can't stand that Coop guy. Hate that dude. It's fine. I don't like everybody I meet, and I don't expect everybody to like me. It's all right. So if people say, man, I don't want to hear him, that's fine. All you got to do is skip that part. No biggie. No biggie. But I'm friends with all the Canes content creators, except that, what's his name? That Coach Hayes guy. Man, If I see him at a game again, I miss my opportunity against Clemson, man. I'm gonna give that fella a knuckle sandwich. Oh no, wait a minute. I mixed the names up. It wasn't Coach Hayes. It was somebody else. It wasn't him. I don't remember which one it was. It was one of those guys. Yeah, see, I can't stand that Coop guy. You know? Yep. What'd you guys think? Can I get some feedback real quick before we get to the phone lines? What'd you guys think about that intro skit? Did everybody get that this guy was a Syracuse fan? I feel like some people didn't catch the hat that he had on. So it was like I got pelted to death with oranges, and of course everyone thought it was the guy in the Syracuse hat, but it turned out that it wasn't, that it was actually the Pop-Tart, and well, we're forever haunted by that dang Pop-Tart because of the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I hope people got it. I don't know. It made sense in my head. But anyways. That Coop guy, yeah. So you're telling me you've never seen the police body cam vid of Chumlee and TVD getting busted snorting Molly in that Starbucks bathroom? You'll have to send that one to me. Yeah, you'll have to send that one to me. But hopefully it's a decent turnout tomorrow. We keep it real over here. I doubt that it will be, but I've seen tickets as low as, I swear I saw tickets for $5. I could be wrong. But I saw tickets for like $5 to $10. Miami still being ranked number 18, 6-2. It's a tough pill to swallow. Again, it's all about the games that were lost and the way that Miami lost them that makes it sting a bit extra. Many Canes fans weren't okay with losing any games, but, they had kind of anticipated maybe you split Notre Dame and Florida. We talked about it. Maybe you have the uh-oh game. And instead, really, you have two uh-oh games. Let's be real. You're a 14-point favorite against Louisville. You're an 11.5-point favorite against SMU. Mini you. You get beat by a former offensive coordinator who ends up, getting canned or leaving after Manny is canned. And it's just a bad look all around, right? Bad, bad, bad. So I don't expect a very big turnout, but just keep in mind that there are 2 home games left total. This one and next week. That's it. Yeah, $8 in 100 level and $11 parking passes. We got Temu prices for games. And it's crazy because I'm not taking a dump on fans because I get it. Right? The frustration's through the roof because you feel like that it's just a bunch of the same. So I can sympathize. I'm there. But I don't know if you saw my walking and venting, Coach Hayes. I told people, I said, look, you got to understand, like, this is therapy for me. So sometimes I'm going to say things that I end up regretting later, but in the moment, I mean it. I said, this team is just so predictable and boring, and they play scared. And that's not a product that people want to go watch in person. They don't want to go sit in the sun and pay $20 for a hamburger and sit there and watch that. They want it to be exciting. So even if Miami comes out and wins, if it's more of the same, what we've been seeing from Miami, people don't want to go watch that. They don't. And I'm just being honest. But you know what I got? I have 38-6. That is a 32-point victory for Miami, who's listed as, let's see, are they still a 28.5-point favorite? Which I understand is quite large. And many people said, hey, take Syracuse to cover. There's absolutely no shot. But this is a game that Miami should. But they also should have done a lot of other things this season, right? Miami is still a 28.5-point favorite. That is right. With the over-under at 46.5. So I have them winning by even more than that. I got them winning by 32. And it's not because I think, let's go ahead and make this very clear. It's not because I think that Miami flipped some sort of switch. I don't think people say, well, Dawson has not fully unleashed the playbook. We've not seen everything they have to offer yet. That's bullshit. Absolutely not. Buddy, we're 10-2. We've lost 2 football games. I don't want to hear it. The offense is what the offense is, and you have a couple of playmakers down with Fletcher and CJ Daniels. I just think, I'll be honest, I think Syracuse, it's score predictions right there. Y'all see that, right? Top left. Right there. It's truly because I think Miami is still a decent team. I'm not saying that Miami is a natty contender. Oh, you're good. You're good, Tommy. I was just making sure. Good to see you try count. It's more so the fact that I think Syracuse is really, really bad. Of course, the team can't overlook them, blah, blah, blah. We know that. That's Cristobal's job to have the team prepared, not mine. I'm a fan. And Syracuse is a bad football team. And really, I just want to win. You know? By 10 or 100, whatever. I just want to win. But it should be by quite a bit. It better be by quite a bit. Cuse will not score more than 10. I don't think so either. I don't think they're capable of that. Yep. You're not a Dawson fan? That's fair. I get it. I totally get it. Now, I do briefly, before we open up the phone lines here, and again, $600 on the line. All you have to do is give me your score prediction for the game, and if you get it right, you win $600. Before I get to it, I know a lot of people are seeing the headlines. Quarterback LaNorris Sellers to the U, South Carolina QB. Instead of going to the NFL, staying in college one more year, going to Miami. I think that it's interesting to talk about. Of course, QBs are always a hot topic, especially with Miami, because you have Cam Ward, then you have Carson Beck. As far as people were saying, what do you think? Like, do you think it's a real possibility? I think that it's fun to discuss. I think that it's extra content for Miami content creators to post about it. It's headlines, all over social media. It's far too early. Is Shannon Dawson even here next year? What other quarterbacks are going to be available in the portal, because we don't even know yet. I'm hearing the same thing about, well, it could be CJ Bailey. And it's really just a guy who said, hey, I think Miami makes a lot of sense because you had two high-profile quarterbacks go there. And, definitely Cam Ward increased his draft stock. Carson Beck is to be determined. I'm not saying that I'm faulting anyone for talking about it. I might end up talking about it at some point. I'm just saying, as far as an opinion goes, I don't know. He would have a lot of other teams approaching him. Like I said, who else is going to be in the portal? We don't know. I don't know for that quarterback situation, though, in that room. Again, there's too many other variables, but I'll ask it anyways. Would you want Miami to go for another experienced quarterback again next season? I understand it's really kind of impossible to answer because, again, we don't know exactly where we're going to be. But I do know there's a large portion of fans that say, well, at some point we have to develop somebody. Luke Nickel, you have Coleman. At some point, I guess Emory's just going to keep playing backup. I don't know. But what makes it tough is Mario Cristobal could find himself in a very weird situation. Think about it. So the last 2 years, you brought in a big name quarterback, and Cam Moore did his thing. We were top in the country in multiple categories offensively, so you really can't complain about him. Carson Beck has been okay. I realize that he's not playing quite as well here on the tail end of the season, but he's not been a complete and total bust in my opinion. I know some people are going to disagree with me. But you brought in two big-name quarterbacks in back-to-back seasons. And depending on what happens the rest of this year, I don't want to get ahead of myself with that either, you ain't won shit. So then, if Mario Cristobal finds himself in a situation where he's starting a young Luke Nickel or a young Coleman, and then if there are growing pains, maybe they pop off, but if there are, and then you have a bit of a setback, then what's the reaction from the fan base? because you're year 5 at that point. So what I'm saying is it's a very interesting situation to be in, because most teams feel like they should probably go grab that very experienced quarterback and come in and you have a spark with the offense. There's not really any growing pains outside of just, it's not that hard to learn the offense, right? And building up some chemistry and stuff. And hopefully they're actually a participant during spring because they're not injured. Mario would be in a weird situation, because it's win now with the portal and NIL and everything. So people want to see immediate results. So I don't know what his approach would be. I don't know. Maybe he does look at Lenora Sellers. Maybe they do approach CJ Bailey. I don't know. I just know that it's far too early right now to say for certain, because there's still games to be played and it's November. But I'm sure it's in the back of their mind, right? I guess the bigger question, or what would be easier to answer, is would you want Lenora Sellers? How about that? Would you want CJ Bailey? What about you, Lundau? Talk to me. Emory seems to be the guy who can run the offense. Then we can spend big money on the trenches, right? I mean, I would kind of be at a point to where it would be nice to get a guy who's here consistently for, 2 or 3 years. But then can you maintain the coaching staff? Can you, if that gets shaken up a little bit, like then again, it's just tough in today's times. It's tough. The problem is they think they are as good as our legends, them and Mario, but they most assuredly are not. They don't even belong in the same breath. Great teams can self-conduct themselves. So they wouldn't. No, fair. Yeah, word on the street is Sellers. Saban told Mario to let the offense loose. See, I don't think that they're holding back offensively. I think that's just the way Miami calls the games. I think it's the way that they play, and I think that's just the identity with this offense, and it makes it tough to compete against some of these teams that can put up big points if we can't hold them. Take Sellers and Lagway? You think the Canes need to win? That's true. Yep. We need a refund. So are you guys, let me ask another question. Just to get some quick honest feedback. Do you regret getting Carson back? We don't know what the alternative would have been. So what if it was just ride with Emory and maybe it was worse? What if they pick up another guy from the transfer portal and it was better? I don't know. But I just know I see a ton of pushback over Carson Beck. People say that's noodle arm. Look at that guy, same old Beck. We knew that's what it was going to be. So was it a bad pickup to this point? Like, how do you feel? Be honest. I want to see. Bro, I'm not over here like screenshotting this and DMing Carson and being like, yo, bro, Taylor thinks you're a bust, bro. He regrets you ever coming to Miami. He wish you would have never been here. It's nothing like that. Come on, we can be grown ups and talk about it. MS says no. Bahama says no. Don't regret it. Throw Tony back there. Okay, a lot of people wanted Mendoza. That guy might be the number 1 pick, possibly. Yeah. But I don't think that was so much of Miami not wanting Mendoza as much as Mendoza not wanting to go to Miami, right? Yeah, and he is playing pretty well. Yeah. Yeah, true. It's actually a great point. I guess it doesn't matter what quarterback you put out there, right? If we're just handing the ball off to run up the middle and throwing screen passes. Excellent point. You can put anybody back there. Luke Nickel could probably do that right now. True. Very, very true. Works both ways. It does. Yeah. You think it's more than Carson? It is. Yeah. See, I'm not upset with the Carson Beck pickup. I don't think that it was a mistake. I'm also in the camp that believes it's deeper than that. There have been times where he's not played well. Obviously, I'm going to be extra critical of him, really harsh because I'm a Canes fan, so I want Miami to win and I want Carson to do well. So I'm going to nitpick it, of course, but I don't regret them getting Beck. I'm just kind of upset overall with the approach, the game planning. It seems like the unwillingness to adapt. And again, when I said this in my walking and venting to where, when I watch a lot of these other teams, I can never figure out if it's me. Hold that thought. Hold on.
Everyone hurry and make your score predictions before Co-op calls it a night early.
Why am I going to call it a night early? What are we talking about here? Team Cyber 1 converted MTSU fan to a Miami fan. Ain't that right, my friend? Ain't that right? Thank you for the big 20. Also, Mr. Joel Davis. Let's clap it up again. Can you believe, Joel? Hold on. I got to tell you about a funny comment I saw. Joel Davis. Thank you for the big 99. So Florida State basketball got that win, right? I think Miami's 2-0, but I know their second game was against Bethune-Cookman, so I don't watch a ton of college basketball. I just know that Miami is going to beat Florida State in basketball, just like they did in football. So, that's all I really know. Even though I don't know the guys on the roster, I know it's an easy win for Miami. That's what I do know. So there was a guy, Joel, that had a Florida State profile picture. And whenever I posted my video with this guy, right, with the Syracuse dummy, the guy commented and said something like, I'm glad you found another use for your blow-up doll. It was a Florida State fan. I don't know who he was, but I saw that on there. I thought you'd get a kick out of that. Bet you? Absolutely, I'll bet. For sure. Yeah, I sure will. When do Miami and Florida State play in basketball? Here we are. See, everybody's moved on. Florida State fans have moved on. Miami fans have moved on. We're on just basketball season, I guess. When are we playing in basketball? Could you imagine what Braum could do with Beck? And that's fair. That's what we said. Sometimes when it comes to scheming it up, when it comes to game planning, I don't know if our coaches are stubborn or stupid. And no, I'm not saying that I can do any better. I am a fan. But they're either stubborn or stupid or a combination of the two, because so many of these teams are consistently doing more with less, and there's no excuse for that. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There is zero excuse. Straight up. And I know people get on there and they say, man, these reporters, they give the Miami coaching staff such easy questions and stuff. Man, who is going to sit up there? You're going to have those privileges revoked so fast. You're Coop with the Coach Coop YouTube channel. What's your question? Oh, thank you, sir. Mario, I appreciate your time. Can you tell me, do you think that Dawson is more stubborn or stupid with his game planning and play calling? And could you tell me, is it you specifically that's handcuffing him, or is it all him so we know who to blame? Right, I know it's frustrating, but again, what do you expect? But it drives me nuts. It does. You love when I get fired up. Oh, I'm fired up right now. Man. Give more money and less opinions. Wait, what? When do we play in basketball? That's what I want to know. I need to know. I think Cyber One is a Miami fan now. We're going to get the phone lines opened up here in just a second, guys. Said up he won't change anything. Yeah. And I don't expect them to reveal the game plan each week and really break it down for the mass majority of people, because I wouldn't understand half the stuff that he's saying, you know? But it is frustrating to watch when I know that I can turn on a TV and watch other teams that I know for a fact. If we just want to talk about talent level on the team, if you want to get into stars, even if a lot of times I say stars don't matter, let's look at these teams, right? And I see coaches working miracles. And there are just some coaches that are better at that. Just like we say, nobody shies away from the fact that Mario Cristobal is not nearly as good of a game day head coach as he is a recruiter. It's facts. Nobody's going to deny that. It doesn't mean that I all of a sudden don't support him as being the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes, but it's facts. So it's frustrating when I see these teams like SMU come out and beat Miami. Why is he the head coach then? A lot of reasons. A lot of reasons. But yeah, at some point, right? I know, again, people are going to say, I would kill for back-to-back 10-win seasons. But I always go back to it's about who Miami lost to and how. 10-2 this year versus 10-2 last year could look very different. But instead, it looks kind of the same. Losing to teams that we shouldn't be losing to. No excuse. And I think that's what frustrates me more than anything. And again, I'm not just trying to be negative. I got Miami whooping some butt tomorrow afternoon. 38-6. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to be honest. It could be way, way worse, y'all. It could be. But still, there's so many things that go into each season and so much work. And even if you're not a huge fan of Carson Beck, you spend the money and you bring in a veteran guy, you get him for 1 year. It's just like last year. We're sitting around pouting with our thumbs up our butts saying, well, we're sitting at home watching from the outside. What could have been, what should have been. One season with this specific roster. One chance. And I know it could be worse, but I'm still pretty upset about it, man. I am. You would take my prediction if you called in? So let's get the phone lines open up. I do want to hear from you guys tonight from the college football family. $600 if you can predict the correct score. 865-229-4131. It is coming an absolute monsoon outside right now, so hopefully the internet connection stays solid, but just as a heads up, in case you guys are like, whoa, hold up. I do need to give a shout out to tonight's sponsor because these guys are powering the phone line. It is thanks to Sleeper that you guys are able to call in tonight. The number one sports app, my go-to sports app. I've been having an absolute blast watching these NFL games on Sunday because I'm entering picks contests. So I love kind of tracking the player stats. You just pick more or less on these players, and you can turn your sports knowledge into some real money. Now, I'm going to put a play together at halftime tomorrow. I'm not going to do it tonight because I still want to kind of do a little bit of research, but I'm thinking about targeting the Steelers and Chargers game because there's always a lot of hype going into the night game. But I can go ahead and tell you I'm taking Aaron Rodgers more than 208 passing yards.
This is what it takes.
I'm definitely going to be taking Gadsden
Everyone needs to
over.
own their WL prediction.
Fair. Now, you talking about for the season in general? Thank you, Elaha. But you can see how simple it is, more or less, then you can go in and put some money on it, see if you can turn that into some real money with your sports knowledge. Make sure that you check out Sleeper. Use code word COOP. It's COOP, and they'll give you a 100% deposit match on that first deposit up to $100. And you can click the link down in the description tonight, and you get $20 for free to try out the picks contest for yourself. And you don't even have to deposit any money. They will give you $20, and you can put a little play together, right? You could go in here. I'll tell you what else I'm going to do. I would 100% take Metcalf for a touchdown. I was kind of thinking about Warren. Metcalf didn't score last week. I would definitely take him for one. But we are going to build a play during halftime tomorrow, the Miami-Syracuse game. That's the plan. So shout out to Sleeper again. Appreciate y'all powering the phone lines and sponsoring the stream tonight. Love that app. Love that app, man. My prediction was 11-1. It took everything in me to predict 10-2 last season. I didn't get the games right, but I said 10-2 this season. I said 11-1, and I think my early offseason prediction was here. Let me see. This was my early offseason. Where's my final one? This is not the final one. This was my early offseason. That's a W for Bethune and Notre Dame. I know you can't see it. There it is. I had a loss to SMU, and I said, you know what? We got the horses. Oh, gosh, I had to make that joke with it. Bad timing. I said, we have the horses to go 11-1. Yes, sir. Yeah, set the Kool-Aid to the side. I don't drink that nonsense. There's too much sugar in it. I said, no, but it's 11-1. Look at the way the schedule plays out. It's gonna be 11-1. I later swapped this from SMU to Virginia Tech because I thought they were going to be better this season. Either way, it doesn't change the fact that I had 11-1. You know, in best case scenario now is 10-2. I'll say it one more time tonight. It's not about being potentially 10-2 or 9-3. It's about the teams that Miami lost to and how. You got it. You have to be playing your best football in November because that's that last final impression. If you're going to lose, shoot. Lose in August. Lose in September. Lose early. Drop that game to Notre Dame. Because the head-to-head don't mean squat, man. If you're dropping them games in November, you got to show you're playing some of your best football late in the season. And that, again, gosh, I didn't want it to turn into this. It continues to be something that's very frustrating to watch with this team. And I don't get it. Help me understand. Why? Why do we always struggle on the tail end of the season? What is it? While I open up the phone lines. What is it? That's the $1 million question. I'd like to know.
To where you on the
Thank you, Clizzy. No message. Just dropped 5 in here. Thank you, my friend. Let's get the phone line open up. Man, you guys got my blood pressure through the roof. I'm picturing Ricky Collins coming out and throwing for 300 plus and rushing for 75 tomorrow. It's not gonna happen though. It's not gonna happen. All right. Let's get this phone line opened up. I'm very positive about tomorrow. All that being said, I'm extremely positive about tomorrow. As I said, I don't expect the offense to flip some sort of switch. It's going to be what we have seen from Miami this season. But Syracuse is that bad. They are. And if they come out and somehow beat Miami, I don't know. I'll shove an orange up my ass or something. I don't know. It won't happen. All right, let's open it up. $3 a.m. You're not well today. Hope it gets better for you, my friend. All right, it's bugging out a little. Just keep calling, and hopefully it'll come through. There it is. Mr. Crip, you are the very first
Coop.
caller of the night. Can you believe it?
How you doing?
Well, I was doing good, and now I'm all sweaty and mad
Why?
because everybody got me all worked up.
I'm not. I got bigger things to worry about.
Yeah, like oh my. Apparently I do too. It sounds like there's a dang tornado outside. Holy smokes. Okay. Well, I mean, if any, love y'all.
That I heard
Love y'all. You love y'all if anything happens.
I think I heard it. I heard it.
You did. I saw it. I saw it hit the mic. It heard it too. Yeah.
I heard the swirling. What the hell's going on in Tennessee?
Yeah. Monsoon, man.
Oh.
So, Crip, are you worried about the orange, Mr. Fran Brown?
No, I'm worried about winning this $200 because I ain't got no food this month because the EBT thing.
Yeah, that could be rough. Well,
Yeah,
$600. I'm not trying to make a joke out of it. I'm just saying, for real, $600 could help. That's why I say $600, man. That could be a car payment, some groceries.
Fuck car payment, it's groceries, man.
Yeah.
EBT, we get some food. Yeah. I can't help it. I'm disabled. I'm on EBT, and the government shut down, so I got it.
So we need to get you this $600. We need to help you come up with the perfect score here. Well, I mean, does it concern you any with having guys like C.J. Daniels out, Mark Fletcher out, Tony Johnson?
Well, not really, because we do have a stable of running backs. The Daniels thing, because we can't just keep throwing it to the dude with the dreadlocks all the time. So.
I think if Miami's going to continue to run the ball the way that they do, would it make more sense to have Marty Brown in over Lyle? Like, I think most people here would agree that Lyle's probably the more talented back, but not if Miami's going to run the football the way they do, right?
I did like how Lyle was doing. And there was something else I saw in the game that I really did like, and it was the argument between the offensive coordinator and Mario. You saw he wanted to do some other routes, and Mario wasn't letting him do it. He wanted to go like this. He was showing the routes he wanted to do with his hands, and I was laughing.
Yeah, I think he clarified that. He said something about he wanted Marty Brown to like hit the hole or something on that play when he should have went right and he cut to the left.
I'm not believing what he's clarifying, because what he's clarifying and what actually happened are two different things. They're not going to say what really happened in front of the press. It's clearly they had a difference of opinion on what they should be doing with the offense.
What do you think he was mad at Mario? You think they were arguing?
Yeah, I think Mario was throttling the offense like he normally does. He wants to control the time of possession and the clock, and I think Shannon wants to unleash some shit. You know what I'm saying? I liked what I saw out of Shannon. I didn't like that he had to go around that route to do it, but if you do this throttling you mid-game and you want to put your foot on the opponent's neck, what the fuck, Mario? Let it happen. Let it happen.
Well, Crip, with that being said,
that was a pure chance, but that game was so close. It didn't have to be so close.
Do you think they can handle business tomorrow afternoon in the way that they should? Miami is favored big, Crip. Big.
I know.
And in a lot of ways, I just want to add one more thing. I've been
wrestling.
Go ahead.
What happened? I've been wrestling with the score since your score prediction.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of agree with you, but I think it's going to be 3 points more, but I don't know, because it means a lot if I win this, because, there's a lot of food potentially could be bought with this money that I'm not getting right now. And that's what I'm like, I don't want to be too...
Channel that football knowledge, Crip, and give me some magic numbers.
Well, I'm like last time I got in. I'm gonna go with the only person this year to win the score prediction, and I'm gonna follow your score prediction to the
You
T.
you're going 38
Yes,
6.
I'm going. Whatever you did,
38
I'm going.
6 Syracuse on
You
top.
have the Midas touch. You understand?
Okay,
All
38
right, and you do
6.
all this.
The orange with a
You all do
W.
all the odds thing. Yes, you do all the
Okay.
odds thing. So I'm starting to believe in you more because because of your professionalness with the odds. So yeah, so you're not letting your heart get into the decision as much because it's more about the biz, the book. You're the book. How about that?